You would join us in the flag salute, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Welcome everyone to Bourbon County Commission meeting, June 24th, 5:30 p.m. Approval of consent agenda, please.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda, just approval of minutes from 6/17.
I second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Minutes approved. Public comments, and we've got a large crowd, so I'm gonna time the 5 minutes. If you're in a healthy discussion like we always do, I'm gonna ask the other two commissioners. They want you to continue. I've done that the last several weeks. Some people didn't hear me, but that's okay. I'll speak louder. But anyway, I'll ask if we want to continue, we'll continue. If not, I'm gonna ask you, your time's up. All right, here we go. Public comments.
Kyle Parks.
Kyle Parks.
I just go up here.
Yes, make sure the red light's on, please. Good evening.
Can you hear
Kyle.
me? I guess it's on.
Okay.
My name is Kyle Parks. My wife and I have been in this country for about 40 years. We raised two kids here. We have a son, a daughter, a son-in-law, and a granddaughter that are currently living in Bourbon County, and I assume they will probably live here forever. I taught ag and FFA for 38 years at high school, so I've been involved with agriculture for a long time. As ag teachers, we had a saying, and we said what we tried to do is what was best for kids. And not what was best for me, not what was easiest for me, not what would make me more money, but what was best for kids. And I think we ought to change that little mantra to what's best for Bourbon County. So I have strong feelings on the solar panels, and I know there's two sides to it, and I'm not trying to start a fight, but I think Bourbon County is a very pretty county, and I kind of hate to see the eye appeal taken away by having these things all over the place. Currently, there's 333 million people in the United States. That number's going up all the time. There's almost 8 billion people on the planet. That number's going up all the time. And since 2015, we have lost 12 million acres of our productive farmland. And that is going to continue as long as they're building Walmarts and housing developments and things like that. That's a loss of 1.8 million acres per year. The United States has the cheapest food supply in the world, and part of that is due to our agriculture, our practices. But they're asking us to produce more and more and more on less and less and less, and that trend can't continue. I mean, we just can't keep losing ag ground like we've been doing. I don't think money should always be top priority. I know it's important, but I think there's other things that are more important, things like being good neighbors, being good friends, being good people. I would like to leave my kids a lot of money when I'm done, but I don't want to do it at somebody else's expense. Land that we're taking out of production for solar panels, I can't see it ever going back into ag production. That will just be ground that's lost probably forever. So I think that's important that we need to think about that. We need to think about the future generations of Bourbon County, not just today and right now. I think what we should do is work together and come up with an option that people can buy into from both sides. And I think it's just something, if we can keep these panels back where they're not intruding on people's view and their property and things, you know, those people that own the property, good for them. But I don't think the rest of us should have to look at them, and I don't think it should be a fight where there's hard feelings all around. So that's what I've got to say.
Thank you, Mr. Powell. Thank you, sir.
Sage Hall.
Okay, yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening to you. I'll just say if this is on the topic of trying to make energy to provide for our electricity uses, there's a lot different ways of producing electricity besides coal, oil, and nuclear. There's geothermal. You can harness the methane that rises from the landfills, which will actually clean the air. And geothermal basically has no side effects. There's biomass generation. You can burn municipal waste to produce steam in a boiler, which powers a turbine. You can use magnetism, thermoelectricity, sound waves. There's all types of different ways. But the Biden regime is not funding any of these. It's funding only things that want to take agricultural land. And basically the only upside is money for a few. I've talked to Senator Thompson several times, and he said, he's put forth a setback at the state level of 1.5 miles because he says living closer to that is not safe. And he's not an idiot. He knows what he's talking about. He's the chair of foreign investments and, foreign land investments, and he's the chair of three committees and a co-chair of one. He's talked a lot about how dangerous these things are, and he's also said that solar is the most wasteful and inefficient form of electrical generation. There's way, way better ways, like just burning the trash from cities to power the whole city. Why are we not doing that? The windmills promised a big kickback for the county, specifically for the schools, and we haven't seen a penny, and that was a big topic of why we should do that, and I know this will be the same deal, even though that's what they say. There's lots of stories you can find in newspapers, like this one here, a guy named Eric Krauge in Virginia. He bought some land and he leased it to an American solar company. The conditions agreed on were that the land would remain in agriculture and he could continue to graze sheep under him. During the long permitting stage that accompanies all acquisitions of any solar farm, the project was sold to a different American company. Later, it was sold to an Israeli company. Disregarding previous agreements in the U.S. Department of Environmental Quality Regulations, the foreign company decided to bury the whole property in rock and dirt, rendering the land useless to any further agriculture. Companies under Department of Energy DEQ review with $100,000 in fines, but this no consequence to them. They're a multi-million-dollar company, and they've got so many lawyers, it doesn't matter to them. It's easier for them to pay the payment for one portion, to pay the fees than to do the right thing, Krauge stated. Contract was violated, then payment for only the first payment was paid. Then when they got contracted, they sold it to somebody else and nobody paid him and they did what they want. He says, now I'm left with a strip mine. Some foreign country controls his land, and he said he got along great with the first company. They were nice and followed the rules and said all the right things, but then they sold it to a foreign country who doesn't give a damn. That's how this game goes. He noted this same company has a half a dozen other projects in the state which have similarly outcomes in such wrongdoings, all under review by DEQ. They keep lying, saying they've fixed the issue when nothing's been done. When the grading company wasn't paid, a $300,000 lien was placed on the property, and then Krauge had to actually hire lawyers because the land was in his name, and LLCs have no repercussions, no responsibility. They can do whatever they want. He said I had to hire my own attorneys to get out from under the lawsuit, and then the county taxes have not been paid, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. And they have a pattern, he says. Until they're stopped, they'll just keep going. I have no respect for these companies or anyone who works for them. He says, I'm sick over this whole situation. There's a lot of stories like this. Talk to the landowners in Allen County who put in windmills. There was liens put on their land over some of the same deal. Companies not paid. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. Also, it's so new that there's been no health studies done. I've seen a lot of studies myself that say they are quite hazardous and EMFs are bad for you, especially on an industrial scale, but we're just going to go ahead and rush it in 25 foot away from houses, and that really concerns me for my kids. That's why I'm here. And in closing, if it's up to the Biden regime, we will have foreign countries controlling our food supply, controlling our land and our oil. So.
Thank you, Mr. Hall.
C.J. Robinson.
C.J. Robinson.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is CJ Robinson, And I, along with my husband Charles, are the elected Republican precinct delegates for the I'm a little nervous, I'm sorry. For the Marmaton District in Bourbon County. Tonight I am here to inform you that this past Thursday at the June Bourbon County Republican Party meeting, after a lengthy discussion that included firsthand testimony from multiple party members, those present held a vote on the following motion. Republican citizens of Bourbon County moved to vote no confidence in current commissioners Beth and Harris due to complete violation of the Code of Conduct for County Commissioners of Bourbon County, Kansas, as per Resolution 22-20 Code of Conduct, Bourbon County, Kansas, dated June 30th, 2020. This motion passed with 29 voting in favor, 6 abstaining, and none voting against. Multiple elected and non-elected county officials were amongst those who voted in favor. Among those abstaining were 2 party members who are running for District 2 and District 3 commission seats. Should any commissioners have any questions about this vote, they are encouraged to attend the July Republican Party meeting on July 18th at 6 p.m. at the Bourbon County Fairgrounds. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Yeah, who's next?
That's it.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I'm not gonna comment, I'm gonna make some comments under commission comment time. A few responds, but, okay, moving right along. SCK Mental Health Center 2025 budget request. Good evening.
Hello.
You did pretty good, you brought that third guy in there.
Yeah.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Jim.
Thank you. Nathan Fossen, CEO of Southeast Kansas Mental Health and Ashley Clinic. Also have with me Job Springer and Jeff Fisher, appointed board member, along with Marty DeWitt, appointed by the County Commission as a board member governing our services. By way of brief reintroduction of our services, I'll just describe that we as a community mental health center were first formed in the early 60s by the county. And as such, assisted by way of the governance of the county and receiving funding support to deliver care to those in need who otherwise couldn't afford to pay. And that's ultimately the reason behind the funds we request every year, is to serve those individuals who otherwise have inability to pay. I would like to briefly summarize the types of services we offer and offer some updates as well as to our growth. We, as a community mental health center, provide 24/7 crisis intervention services, as well as therapy, outpatient services, psychiatry, consultation, chemical abuse counseling, and an array of other community-based services and specialty services. We, here within the last few years, have achieved that of CCBHC, Certified Community Behavioral Health Clinic designation. We were one of the first 6 community mental health centers in the state of Kansas, there being 26 community mental health centers. We were one of the first 6 to achieve that designation. What that ultimately allowed for us to achieve and offer is enhanced access to our services, more timely access and broader support, as well as enhanced quality of care, in summary. What that also expected of us in becoming a certified community behavioral health clinic was that we had more of an integrated care focus, that we have more of a whole person care focus as we deliver our mental health services, meaning that we're not only attending to the mental health needs of those we treat and support, but we're also assessing what their physical health and other support needs might be. And as such, we have put in play better coordination with other primary care and community supports. We, even in this last year, embraced that integrated care model in the form of merging with a primary care and specialty practice, Ashley Clinic, which is based out of Neosho County, and a group of providers that offer primary care, urology, pediatrics, surgery, various specialty services, with the ultimate goal that we now, as we deliver behavioral health care, can also better deliver our clientele's physical health care needs in a more seamless, well-coordinated manner. Another step we've taken in that direction specific to Bourbon County is that of relocating our services from our prior office to the existing hospital, occupying the space that was vacated by the Community Health Center of Southeast Kansas. And we now have our therapy and other specialty physical health care services being provided out of that facility, which I was very encouraged to learn of Freeman's plans to reopen hospital beds and the emergency room. We're very encouraged to work alongside KRI in collaborating with them and their inpatient services specific to behavioral health. And we're encouraged for the county and what that has meant for the members of the county. And we very much embrace our mission and role in offering support. In the name of support, we request our annual budget request, mill levy support request, is that of $95,963, again with the intent that those dollars would serve those who otherwise have inability to pay. I've provided you with some very high-level statistics regarding our services. For example, in this last service year, we have served 2,320 clients, equaling 58,334 services and over 50,000 hours of services to the members of Fort Scott. Thank you again for all of your support, and we also thank Marty and Jeff for their leadership support and in representing the Bourbon County community.
Thank you for your services. Thank you. Good to see you, Jeff. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay. Jeff. It is good.
You know, I will add that years ago, as we were experiencing this crisis, losing a hospital, if you go back in the history, you'll notice Job Springer, the finance man, and Nathan Fossen were at all of these meetings crafting that vision to what this hospital is becoming. So I want to thank you for your support, and
Thank you.
Godspeed.
And thank you, the community support. They did it, so.
The community did vote and say that this is important, and I'm
Very
glad
much
you're
so.
tracking.
I give all the credit to the community, so thank you, Jeff. So, okay, Tri-Valley 2025 budget request, please. Good evening, sir.
Thanks, Ron.
Good evening. My name is Bill Fiskus. I'm the CEO for Tri-Valley Developmental Services. Just go through the packet that I handed out. Our request is the same as it has been the last several years, $55,000. The second and third pages list our board of directors. And you can see the two that are appointed for Bourbon County. They are real good board members. And then we get to the services information. The top section is our mission statement. And then geographic service area, we provide services to 8 counties, obviously including Bourbon County. Bourbon and Neosho are 2 of our larger counties. Services provided, we provide day habilitation. We have 6 service centers in our 8 county area. obviously Fort Scott being one of them as well. Under the DAHAB, DAHAB is providing activities outside of an individual's home, including support for development, maintenance, and improvement of the individual's skills. Then we also provide residential habilitation. We have 8 living settings in Bourbon County, and then agency-wide we have 30 living settings. Then next page, we also provide case management services to assist the individuals we provide services to. As far as numbers, day habilitation, we have 34 individuals in Bourbon County receiving services, and agency-wide 119. Residential, we have 25 in Bourbon County and 87 agency-wide. Case management, 45 in Bourbon County, and then 225 overall. Waiting list, we have 10 individuals in Bourbon County and 73 agency-wide. Of those 10, the longest waiting for services in Bourbon County is 9 years, so it's pretty significant. And that's typical around the state. And the legislature did allocate funding for 500 off the waiting list, which I think the waiting list statewide was about 5,300. So 500 will help still a lot of people on the waiting list. And then we have 43 employees in Bourbon County and 151 agency-wide. Then I've also listed what we receive from the counties. And then the last section is our budget for the coming year, fiscal year 25, which starts July 1st. So. I don't know if you have any questions.
Clifton? Brandon? I don't have any.
No, I don't think so.
Thank you very much for your service.
Thank you for all your support. We sure appreciate it.
Thank you for what you do, so it's very important, so. SC Care Area Agency on Aging Budget Request. Good evening.
Hello. I'm Kathy Brennan, Executive Director, can you guys, of Southeast Kansas Area Agency on Aging, and you see Stacy Dickerhoof, who is the Associate Director. I think we should have sent our audit and all that information up previously. If you don't have it, my understanding is we sent it up previously. I want to focus on bang for your buck. You guys give us funds. We take those funds and pull down state and federal dollars with those funds. And I pulled the figures, and we spent, probably if you count all the funds we can't actually track too well, we spent $250,000 in your agency, in your county. So if you look at the funds we get versus bang on your buck, it's substantial. And some of it's nutrition, and we appreciate having the money sent directly to us. That has saved a lot of headache and us not getting paid promptly. So we really appreciate that. But if you look, and I pulled the numbers, most of the people, we serve the entire county. Most of them, it was around 50 people is in the Fort Scott area. So the other 25, 28 people are served in the surrounding county. So we truly do serve the entire county, not just Fort Scott. Last year, we served over 16,000 meals to county residents, which was, I said 65 people. I'm sorry, I had a different number in my head, but about 50 of those are Bourbon County, Fort Scott. And then Older American Act and Senior Care Act is our federal and state funds. We serve 33 people with those, and that could be attendant care in the home, and I put definitions on the back of this sheet, but it can be help with housekeeping, it could be bathing, it could be whatever that person needs to stay in the home. And it averages between 30 to 40 hours per month. So, I talk, and I think I said it last year, we're about doing little fixes to do with big results. And 40 hours a month is not a lot of hours, but that can keep people out of the nursing home. And so it's I think what we do is extremely important. We also provide incontinence support, bath aids. We do, if their furnace goes out, air conditioning, something like that. We don't have a lot of funds in the state. It's pretty limited what we can do. But if, putting a ramp in or putting buying a window air conditioning, you and I both know that will keep someone in their home longer. And that's what we're about. If they're 60 and over, we want to keep them in their home as long as possible. And Medicare is also a big, big thing. We have the contract to do Medicare counseling. So when someone is retiring, we can talk to them about best practices. What, do you take the Part B do you need the Part B now or can you wait? And then also selecting the Part D insurance. It's becoming critical with the different insurance coming out that people are getting, and the type of plan that insurance companies, Advantage plans, they have their benefits and they have their strengths, but in Southeast Kansas, the benefits of an Advantage plan are pretty limited, but they get cash money they get a benefits card every month. And we've had people with this economy choose to do an Advantage plan over a Part D insurance plan. And an Advantage plan takes your Part A, Part B, and Part D and combines them all in one plan. And there's some,
There's very few advantages. I'll say it.
Okay. I'm trying to be politically
No, it's no
correct.
reason to be. I've seen more people hurt over it in my career than I have seen helped.
Right. And so we provide that counseling. And if you have someone that that's getting ready to retire or annually, we can talk to them about Part D. And 105 people were reached. And that's anyone that's receiving Social Security or benefits. So I feel like that's a huge impact because if someone is on an Advantage plan and needs to go to a nursing home, it's very, very limited on what they pay for. And that's what we find is people come to us saying, we can't afford the nursing care. We need rehab so we can go home. And if they get locked into an Advantage plan, there's nothing we can do for them. They have to go to Medicaid. And that's something I really feel strongly about. The farmers market voucher, we were selected to start administering them or passing them out this year, which is pretty exciting. So we partnered with the chamber, and they are our volunteers on the ground, and it's a $50 voucher. They have to be 60 or above and meet the income guidelines, but the income guidelines are very, very generous. So that's really exciting. People really enjoy that. I don't know that you have a lot of farmers in Bourbon County, but that's something, they can go to Pittsburgh and they can go to surrounding farmers markets. So it's, you guys, your money makes a difference, and I appreciate that. We're not asking for an increase this year, but I will tell you, we're going to start a waiting list for our home delivery program. The cost of food, the cost of staff, our insurance went up, I think 60%. So we're going to have to put a pause on that until we can figure out a way to make the money last a year. So, but all the funds you get is matched. So I appreciate that and thank you for that. And please, I put my business card on it. Anytime you have any questions, my cell phone's on there. Please reach out and call me.
Thank you very much for what you
Thanks.
do.
Any
Thank you, Kathy.
questions?
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Kathy.
We do have a pretty good farmer's market here.
Okay.
Okay, Bourbon County Conservation District 2025 budget request. Jared?
He's coming. He's way
Okay.
back here.
Good evening, sir.
Gentlemen,
How are you?
oh, you know, got stuck in traffic back here. Red light's on. Okay. See, you got a busy schedule. I'm not gonna take up too much time. I am a lone ranger tonight, though, so I gotta pass that to Jim.
Yeah, I sure can.
That one's yours.
I kept looking for Ronnie.
That one's well, so yes. I guess he thinks he's been a supervisor in the county for 40 years. I guess he decided he could take today off. So he was supposed to join me, but he didn't make it. So
I bet he's earned it, so.
I'm sure I'm going to be lost without him. So anyway, sticking to let's get done and get out. That's me. Hang on, I got to get all my tractor notes here. All right. First of all, the main page is our budget. If you look at our county appropriations, that's what our asking is, 40,000. We tried to stay within constraints of last year. You know, that's that. So now that you know that, I'm going to move on. First off, just a few things. I wrote down, you know, we talked last year that the Soil Conservation District is kind of hard to pinpoint of what we actually do. Are we government? Are we not government? You know, whether they're called soil conservation districts, resource districts, they're all the same. They have a single mission, which is to coordinate assistance from all available sources, public, private, local, state, and federal, to develop locally, I'm going to say that again, locally driven solutions to natural resource concerns. We are lucky we aren't the government. We are locally, I guess so. I guess you can't say that. We're locally elected supervisors. I didn't give the rundown. There's 5. And I'm going to forget them if I don't, so I'm just not going to do it. 5 locally producers, mostly, that work on state cost share, either way. But basically, our main goal is to provide a hub for agencies such as FSA, NRCS, Parks and Wildlife, all go through Mandy's office. Mandy's our office manager. So basically, we all work together. So the thing that we never talk about enough is our local support from you guys, you know, as being a crucial hub of that also. So basically, for those that don't know, our funding comes from state funding plus local funding. It's a combination of the two. So that is, if you look in your books, you can see the breakdown there. As far as, they call it state matching, but my math's better than that. It really never equates to that. So we appreciate all support from you guys. So all 105 counties in Kansas have a conservation district, and don't quote me unless you're prepared to be wrong. I do believe there's a presence in every county in the United States. You know, I can't find that fact, but I'm 98% sure. If you want to look at what it brings in, you can look at state aids to conservation districts. There's a page in there. Kansas Water Resource Non-Point Source Pollution Control Funds. We work with NRCS with EQIP. That's a big one. We currently have 74 contracts in the county. FSA, 3,000 acres. It's figured up here that we are basically helping to bring our tax dollars back to Bourbon County at a tune of total payments to landowners in this county was $436,470 last year. So at our budget level, you know, we're getting a 10 to almost 11 to 1 return on our investment. So now granted, it's also our tax dollars, but we're just out there with our nets trying to bring it back. So as far as that goes, you guys are pretty familiar with a lot of this. We are the primary local personnel responsible for conservation, soil, and water resources. A couple things that we like to do. This is where I always let Ronnie go, but I guess I'm gonna have to do it. Big things that we do is mostly education and outreach. I mean, we love to bark at people and tell them things, but at the end of the thing, you know, conservation is voluntary for sure. But we can offer services and offer free advice or advice, and if people want to use it, that's fine. So, you know, we go to conservation days at the Capitol. We have conservation day at Gun Park, which basically brings every fourth grader in the county through, you know, for a long time. And it's a really good deal. But at the end of the day, it's all about education. What can we do? So if you guys don't have any question, I mean, I say that. Drills, so, you know, drills, fire equipment, all the stuff. We have seed sales. So those are all things that we can do. And I'd love to, and that goes for anybody in the crowd. I will answer questions anytime about the conservation districts. I think our door's always open policy. And I'm going to leave you with this. When I was a kid, I listened to Paul Harvey all the time with my grandpa. And, you know, despite all of our accomplishments, we owe our existence to the fact that there's 6 inches of topsoil and the fact that it rains. So, you know, we have to protect that. So anyway, that's all I got. I don't know. I'm a jumbled up mess. What do you guys think here?
I don't have any questions. Thank you for what you do.
Okay. Well, thank you guys. So
anybody else got questions? No? All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Vance Eden, U-235 contribution decision.
Hi
Good
guys.
evening. Good evening.
So when we started this conversation, however long ago that was, I had applied for a grant and was hopeful that we would receive some money, and was looking to combine that together with a possible contribution for the county to end up being able to redo that ag shop again, with a large portion of that being district funds. So at this point, I do have an opportunity to receive some funds from that granting agency. I can't really disclose that yet. Who that is and exactly that amount, because that'll come out publicly if I'm able to do the project. And so I kind of need us to begin to put the rubber to the road as far as if we think long term. I think this conversation can maybe be a couple different pieces if we talk about Jayhawk Wind, that money, and then if we differently maybe talk about NextEra, and just want to kind of have an open discussion and find out if there's a portion of that and maybe what those numbers are. Obviously, I would hate to turn away the grant funding that is being offered to us, but probably am not able to do that solely on just district funds. So yeah, you know, I've been bringing the idea to the table that, and I think specifically when I think NextEra and that Hinton Creek project, if we did a somewhat of a proportionate distribution model based on the mill levies, then that would allow me to address that. That is more than what I had initially asked when I came asking for $200,000. And if that's, I guess I'd just like to have some conversation. If that's where you land, then that'll allow me to make some decisions as to whether or not I'm able to move forward. But just would kind of, I guess, like some feedback, if there's some to give or questions I have.
I'll comment, and the other two commissioners can as well. We've been advised by council that this is a distribution, it's not pilot money.
Right.
So we've had this discussion. I missed your call today because I was in a budget meeting.
Yeah,
anyway,
of course.
Saying that, first question, the building you're going to build is for your younger agriculture guys?
So it's my high school ag and FFA building. And that building is just at the end of its life by engineering and architectural standards.
And my question really, if you build that one and college builds one, will you still be able to use yours?
Absolutely, yeah. So, you know, really that's like the day-to-day, like Mr. Parks was talking about his classroom, that, you know, that's going to be really everyone from junior high through high school.
Okay, the junior high, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, you know, a tech center is probably going to be mostly those high-end kind of classes.
Well, as one commissioner, and we've been told that it's a donation agreement, and it's not pilot, which is different, but I'm willing to commit 50,000 each year for the next 4 years out of that money to help build your building. I'm one commissioner, but I will commit to 50,000 starting 2025 out of the donation money that comes to us
Okay.
from some of these energy companies for 4 years. And you had mentioned $200,000. That would get there. It'll take us 4 years to get there, but
Yeah.
I'm confident we can do that if
Does
everything goes right.
So does that get you to your plan? Does that help you with, if you get the grant and then we commit to the 50,000 for 4 years, does that get your building where you need it to be?
That'll be up to my board, really. That is going to be close. That'll be a little bit of a stretch, but if we get that far, obviously we're going to try to make every adjustment we could to get there. Yeah.
Because I'm on record of being good with giving Uniontown some money out of that, the contribution. So I'm good with 50,000 for 4 years.
This change, that was my motion. That we will provide you 50,000 of the energy money starting 2025 for 4 years for a total of 200,000 if that money comes in like we think it's supposed to.
Of course, yeah, obviously.
And that's my motion for help you
From the Hidden
235.
Creek, or whatever, is that what it's called?
That's what that agreement
The
listed
next
as Hinton Creek.
That's the next era
Yes.
plan?
And money that we could receive in 2025 to help you build your building.
I think that what I understand is November of 2025 with a payment in
I was
December.
told
of
October, but it's October,
Yeah,
November, it's
somewhere
about
in-
the same
yeah,
thing.
So I'll second that motion.
Okay.
if we-
Any other further discussion? Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Clifton, any question? All in favor, vote aye. Motion carries.
Thank you,
We
guys.
will help you build your building.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for your efforts, so. Department updates, Public Works.
Brought
Good
back
evening,
up tonight,
gentlemen.
just in case.
Brought Mr. Spanky with you. How are you?
Good. We'll make it quick, short. We heard back last week from our insurance company on the truck that was totaled. They have offered us $129,658.33 as a settlement for our truck since it's totaled. I would recommend that we, and I think Dustin will recommend as well, that we go ahead and accept that offer from our insurance company. I believe that we'll probably need a motion from you to accept that first.
It's gonna be gone forever, right?
That truck
Yeah,
is,
that's the cursed one, right? The one that
Yeah.
keeps getting
The
rolled.
that's the
Three
third.
times? I thought that was the third wreck, so.
Third time was a charm.
Okay, I want to make a motion to accept that
I will
insurance check.
make a motion that we get rid of that truck, please, and accept
One-
that insurance offer.
129,658,
33.
33.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay.
Next thing we'll bring to you is we got contacted today on a Mack truck that is being traded in. We asked for it to be held. They're currently holding it for us. There's several others that are next in line. But anyhow, it's a 2017 Mack with 162,576 miles on it. They are asking $125,995 for it. We would also like, they offered us a 2-year extended warranty for 11 grand, and that will cover the engine, the transmission, and the DEF system. And with the trouble we've been having with DEF and what have you here recently, it is, in our opinion, or in my opinion, and I think Dustin will agree as well, that's a pretty good warranty, so.
We would like to get approved for 140,000 to buy the used dump truck, just in case there's some other little fees or something involved. We would like to use the insurance money from the total truck to purchase the new truck, plus a little bit of funds out of our special equipment fund for the warranty.
You have an additional 11,000 in machinery fund.
Yeah, it's about $6,000 or $7,000 difference, so we should be able to cover that.
We gotta have the truck, so I'll make a motion to purchase the truck with the insurance money and the extra out of your equipment fund.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen, for your
Give you
efforts.
another quick update, our bridge at 160th and Fern, they're making the first pour on it tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Gonna pour roughly 60 yards concrete tomorrow. So just letting you know on that.
They pour half one day or one side?
They're
or how
doing
do-
the whole floor.
Whole deck?
Yes, the whole.
Good, I thought so, but.
The base part.
base, yeah. Okay.
So.
Good.
And then also we started on Eagle Road today, let you know that. And then, we're still going strong on the cleanup as well. So it's gonna be an ongoing process. I just want everyone to be aware of that. I know everyone's road is important to them and we wanna get there as quick as we can, but we can only go so fast. So anyhow,
Thank you for what you do.
that's where we're at. Anything for us?
Glad Spanky made it through camping.
Did. There was plenty of food.
Thank you, gentlemen. Susan Walker, CFO, please. Good evening, Susan.
We talked about this last fall. Our health insurance with SEHP actually goes up in July of every year. We're actually a payroll behind on this, but we're asking for, and I laid it at the table. Annual increase would be 87,000, but since we're just a half year, it'd be about $43,000 to pick up the increase, or you also have the option to pass that increase on to the employee. It is budgeted for 2024.
If it's budgeted, then pay it.
I agree.
Okay. Just
Need
need
a
a
motion
motion.
Okay. That's a motion. I second it. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
The next, I need an executive session for 5 minutes for non-elected personnel,
Who you want in it?
the 3 commissioners and myself.
Okay.
Make a motion, go into executive session, case A 75-4319B1 to discuss personal matters of individual non-elected personnel to protect their privacy. B3 commissioners, Susan Walker, be for 5 minutes. We'll return here, it looks like at 6:22.
Second it.
Got a motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Make a motion to resume normal session, no action.
I'll second it.
And motion second. Any discussion?
Hey, Michael, could you tell them we're back in session?
All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
I need one more executive session. This time it is for, to discuss financial affairs or trade secrets of corporation partnerships trusts. That'd be four.
How long?
5 minutes.
Commissioners? and
Yeah,
Judge?
same. Yeah,
That's three?
same.
Okay.
Make a motion, go into executive session, KSA 75-4319B4, to discuss data relating to financial affairs or trade secrets of corporations, partnerships, trusts, individual proprietorships. Be 3 commissioners and Susan Walker. Be for 5 minutes. We return here at 6:29.
I second it.
And motion second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
You started that already? Make a motion, resume normal session, no action.
I second it.
Motion is second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Jennifer Hartman, County Clerk.
I just have one permit tonight for Kathy Ramirez Fireworks located at 840 North Main Street in Mapleton. Needs a signature by the chairman.
I'm gonna ask Justin if he got a chance to review this.
Yeah, so, I don't know if Justin.
Yeah, he just came back. Justin, you have a moment? Yes, please. We had a question last week, and I know I contacted you and asked that question regarding why is there a license for a,
I believe there was a resolution back in 1991 that they wanted that done. There is some statutes that talk about displays, firework displays, having to be approved by the city or the county. I wasn't aware of any law from the state that basically talked about actual stands or retail spaces.
so,
But the resolution in 1991 wanted them to get permission from the county. I think there's only 2 in the county. The rest are in the city limits of Fort Scott.
But I just have a question, and I mean, you can approve it if you want. I know the lady, so she's.
Yeah.
I buy my fireworks from her.
You want that?
Since it's in Mapleton, why does the county even have to, I mean, do we have
Is
to
it
approve
within
all
the
of them
city
inside the
limits?
county? Yeah, it's inside the city limits.
I think that we're not probably following our own resolution. I mean, the city of Mapleton should, I don't know if I've never,
They've already approved it. Well, they couldn't because we didn't have a meeting, but they were supposed to approve it.
we shouldn't be looking at it then.
yeah, I don't represent the city of Mapleton. Can't give them any legal advice, but I would assume that based off the laws and the things that I've read, there is some guidelines statutorily by Kansas legislators to have the county or the city sign off on displays. I don't know what the definition of a display is. I'm assuming it would be the things that are shot from the
That
sky.
started with maybe an inspection by a fire marshal or fire chief or something.
There's a ton
Long time ago.
there's a ton of licensing through the state fire marshal, and there's actually an entire chapter in the Kansas statutes that talk about fireworks.
Okay. So Brad, it's your opinion that's inside the city limits of Mapleton?
Yeah, it's inside the city limits of Mapleton, so I don't know, and I know Mapleton will approve her license to sell them, so.
Problem is
I mean, I'm just, if we
I don't know
have
when the
to.
city of Mapleton's meetings are, but they better hurry because the law is from June 27th to July 5th.
Right.
And I hate for the sales tax revenues not to
Should we go
generate.
ahead just in case? You want to pass it?
Not that
in
I'm
case
advocating
they
for
don't
that,
have a
but-
special meeting?
Yeah, I'll
Pass it?
make a motion that we approve
Okay.
the fireworks license and that the
Okay.
chairman signs it.
You guys down with me?
Yes, thank you. Enjoy the ball
Second.
game. Is that a second, Cliff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A motion second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, opening of solar panel committee letters. What I've done, I asked the clerk earlier today to run copies. You should have it in your folder, I
Yep,
hope.
I already went through them actually and looked them.
Justin suggests we go into executive session, discuss these in private first, then come back out and talk about it.
That's fine, we can do that.
So I'd like to amend the agenda to have a 10-minute executive session regarding,
The opening of the solar panel letters.
4319B1, I think he said, individual non-elected. Justin saying yes. He said B. I don't care. Well, Justin?
I think what you're gonna do is you're gonna talk about the qualifications or what those, I don't know how many there are. but-
9, I think there's
The
9.
city does it, they go into executive session if you wanna interview them. I think if
But-
you wanna set that process up,
Is it B1 or B2?
it could be either one.
Okay.
I don't like personnel, we're not personnel. Yeah, so it doesn't. Or whoever the lead. Right, it could be, B1's fine too, because they'll be attorney-client privilege.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion to amend the agenda.
I'll make a motion, we amend the agenda, to have an executive session for.
You gotta do one first, then the other. It's second to amend the agenda, right?
Yeah, second.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
I'd like 3 commissioners and Justin in there if he's got time. And we'll take a motion for the executive session.
Yeah,
Well, he's not here.
Make a motion that we.
For the baseball game for another.
Oh,
30 minutes.
okay.
Sure, you got time?
Fine.
Okay,
How long?
10 minutes.
I make a motion, we go to executive session, KSC 75-4319B2,
Gotta read it. Oh,
for
sorry.
consultation with an attorney for the public body or agency which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship for 10 minutes.
We'll return.
We will return at 6:44.
Second.
And a motion second, any discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to resume normal session, no action. Well, sorry, make a motion, rescind that. I make a motion to resume normal session with action.
I second it.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have came to we reviewed the letters of interest for being on the setback committee, solar panel committee. And since Brandon's District 1, he's gonna tell you who they are.
Okay, guys, so out of 9 letters, we chose 7 individuals to be on this board, or this committee. It's not a board, it's a committee. And I think we did a pretty good job of finding people that are on both sides of the fence and some people that are in the middle, right? They just want to be involved in their community. And the first one is Samuel Tran, that lives at 14, well, it doesn't matter, his name is Samuel Tran. And we have Gene Tucker, Sparky Schroeder, Elsa Moss, Bo Casper, John Eden, and Vance Eden. Those are the 7 people that we have decided to be on the committee. Now, like I said, we got a couple that are for it, a couple that are against it, and 3 people that I believe are kind of in the middle. So that's what we agreed on. So,
Well, going forward, I would recommend this committee that set up a meeting date, and one of us can be there to help you get started if you like, and choose you. I'm not open for discussion at the moment, sir. And pick your chairman and co-chairman and start holding some meetings, and we'll give you the input that we have. I know Brandon's been doing a lot of research on setbacks, et cetera. So this is something we want to bring forward as quickly as possible. So you guys want to open this up for discussion? The gentleman in the back wants to mention it. Mr. Parks.
Yes.
that's fine. I'll listen to whoever.
I was just gonna ask, what is the purpose of the committee? I mean, do they have any power to?
No.
I
Just make suggestions?
Make recommendations to review, working with all property owners, working with the solar panel people, make recommendations to the county commission on setbacks. Now, they could go forward. We do have a development agreement, we have a road agreement, we have a decommissioning agreement, and we have a donation agreement. At some point, that might become into a play for a review. That's been reviewed several times by lawyers, and that's already something, we've already signed one. So we're confident, except the setback in that agreement. We're gonna change that, or hopefully we will. And my short visit with the solar panel farm and his short visit, they're very cooperative. They want some setbacks to help these folks out, so. Anyway, I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, I was just
Okay.
wondering what their purpose was.
Any other questions regarding that matter?
The public was asked for it. I mean, the people in the public asked for it.
Yeah, we're doing what the folks had asked us to put together a committee to start this review. And because we issued a moratorium a month or so ago on anything that didn't have existing contracts. So going forward, if any contracts are issued, the county could possibly issue a setback requirement, possibly. But we can't spot zone, so we've got to be handled very carefully on the legal side of it, so.
So there's no precedent for a vote on this? I mean, if that's not even a question?
I'm not sure if I understand your question.
Vote on whether they have the solar panel, I mean, it's a done deal no matter what.
One that has existing contracts, it's a done deal by our attorneys. Now, the ones that does not have an existing contract, this could affect them. But legally, we have no zoning or any other tool to say they can't come in place because both sides discuss property rights. So, and, you know, Mr. Parks, I've known you, well, I don't know you, but I've known you forever, ever. My son went through the school system, and I just want to mention something here. How many millions of acres the federal government is paying people not to farm. Unbelievable amount.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Let me find it here. That way I'll just give you a number, that I believe. Now, this is federal government information, not Jim's information, so if it's wrong. Anybody know, remember, what do you remember?
So the contracts that you have signed already that are a done deal, what are the setbacks for those contracts?
The folks that you're making reference to at this time did not come to the county with an agreement. We don't have an agreement with those folks.
Right.
We have one with a company down in the southwest. That's one we reached out and made an agreement with. The ones that these folks were dealing with, we had no zoning, so they didn't have to come forward and ask us for anything, zero. So only thing, excuse me, only setbacks that we can wish from them is cooperation at this time, and I believe they're going to do that. Just visiting with them. Myself and Brandon thinks the same, don't you? I think he's mentioned that, so.
I still didn't get an answer. So is there not
The-
a setback?
The contract that's already signed with the
Yes,
county?
yes.
I don't know what was the setback on that.
One in the southwest was 25 feet, but there was no houses, my understanding. I haven't drove the whole area. I know there was, in general, one large rancher down there that hooked those, but now these ones we're talking about now are individual, different locations. And without zoning, there was nothing that would push those solar panel corporations to come to us and say, we want to do this because you're zoned and we want a special permit to do this, but without zoning, we have no legal action. If we did, we could go through a somewhat zoning commission review, and they can make a recommendation to this county board, and we could vote yes or no to allow that special use permit. And I think this direction we're going with this committee, that's where we're gonna wind up. I believe that. But we'll see what the committee brings back to us as far as their review, their suggestions, recommendations. But again, let me say it for the third time, I have visited with those solar panel people. And they are very favorable in favor of reasonable setbacks to accommodate people's residents. So, and
planning.
And planting some greenery, buffer zones, that would help. So they've been very cooperative. And Brandon's met with one or talked to a couple, or gonna talk
to a couple. I got a
gonna talk
meeting
some
with
more.
some later on.
And this is his district, so he's took over this review, working with the solar farm folks and the property owners. And we're gonna try to accommodate everyone on both sides of the fence, because you gotta remember the Constitution of the United States says both sides have rights. You know, that's the Constitution of the United States of America as well as the Kansas Constitution. So we're here to try to make everyone happy. I wish, this came up 3 years ago, and I talked to another lady, and she was trying to help me at that time, and all this kind of got quiet. And at that time, there wasn't a lot of support in this room for any type of special use permit or anything, so it didn't move forward. And this lady told me the other day she wished she would have kept pushing it, and maybe something would have happened back 3 years ago. But anyway, we're trying to move forward, make everyone happy. Yeah, Bo.
Have we had any, or found out anything exactly on like the fences or anything of that? Because I know that was still in limbo as far as knowing. Brandon, you said something in Texas, that they just had barbed wire or something.
Yeah,
It's not a
yeah.
high
In
fence,
certain
you know?
places, I know that they just run a 5-wire fence around some of them, and then some of them they have like the high security fence like they got at Devon.
Right.
I ain't seen the one in El Dorado Springs, Missouri yet, but I'm assuming it's probably got a big high fence around it. I think it just depends on the area they're in.
The ones in Arkansas just have a regular 5-wire fence.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Is that something?
And then I think
find out with them, you
I
guys?
think in Southern California and Denver, they don't have any fences around them. They're just
Yeah,
open.
and there's places with no fences.
So it's just.
I was told of another one that had fencing around it, had goats. I haven't seen that.
Nope, they don't put goats in them that come from the
Sheep.
salt because they will eat the wiring.
Yeah, so they use sheep.
They had goats
They don't have
on
goats.
the corner of 135th Street. They
Have
put them in
goats.
there
Sheep,
with
aren't
a
they?
little tiny water for like 3 weeks, and then they took the goats back out.
They were sheep, wasn't they?
I don't know what they were.
They use sheep.
They put sheep in them because the sheep won't chew the wiring, but the goats will.
Yeah, if they use 10-foot tall panels, they can put cows in them. So they can run cows under them, and they do
Okay.
in the United States.
I found that information. As October 16th, USDA made $1.77 billion in 2023 payments to landowners in the CRP program. There was 667,000 people signed up to receive money from the federal government, not to farm, but to put in CRP, a total of 23 million acres of private land that was signed over to the federal government. So you are right, these do take away farming, but these other farmers signed away 23 million acres. So
But that's subpar land, that land is prone to erosion and other there's other reasons.
Did you see all 23 million acres? I didn't.
There's a difference between CRP and this.
And
This ground will never be used for farming again, ever.
Okay, any other discussion? Yes, Michael?
I just want to make sure, will this committee be subject to coma?
Subject to what?
Coma. Oh, as an open meeting.
I would.
Justin?
Good question.
I would say it'd be safe, you probably at this point fall under coma. Thank you.
Okay, so I seen someone else back there. Mary?
Yes, could we just get clarification of the process here? Are this committee only dealing with setbacks or other issues to do with solar? And you keep talking about moving forward possibly to zoning, and where does this committee fit into that? Is it gonna depend on what they recommend for a setback as to whether you put zoning on the ballot?
Well,
I don't understand.
if we get to the point that we're trying to enforce setbacks, we have to have some form of zoning to make it authentic for legalities. So if we got to the point, in my opinion, I'm speaking for one, if this committee come back and said, we want this for setbacks, blah, blah, and we want to put it into a writing, a special use permit, then at that time this board would have to decide if it goes on the ballot. Let all the people vote for it. They want special use permit is zoning 101, basically, so we would let the people decide to vote and move forward. I think that's only fair, right, Mary? Let everybody vote and let all the people talk.
I think people should also realize it's gonna cost at least 2 to 3 mils to do that.
Well, it's gonna cost some money to have a zoning person, a vehicle, probably a couple of people, but.
To get it all started.
Yeah.
Maybe they should have thought about that before bringing this to Bourbon County.
It was brought up. It was brought up 3-4 years ago and nobody did anything about it,
They
so.
negotiated a contract that said 25 feet,
I
why
mean-
didn't you just ask for 100 feet or 200 feet? 35 feet.
Well, they've already said they would do 300 feet around the house.
Yeah.
There you go, it would have been easy to have done first.
I mean.
Okay. Anyone else have a question? Yes, ma'am. Now, see,
Is the committee gonna meet tonight to decide when they're gonna meet again, or what?
that's entirely up to the committee. I would pick a day. It's up to you.
I can be the contact person. I can't act in official capacity as a commissioner, but I will gladly go to your meetings. I will be a middleman for arguments.
Who's gonna call a meeting?
They have to announce it. They're gonna be notified.
Yeah, they'll have to publish it.
Yeah, you guys,
Agenda and the whole works.
But how do, I mean,
Just set the first meeting, Brandon, because otherwise you don't have.
Yeah, set a date.
We just set a date and we can step back away from it. That's what I'd recommend.
well, I only have so much time available.
No, I'm just saying you step away from it also and let them meet on their own.
are all of those committee members here tonight?
I don't know. Say or no.
No, but a couple of them did call me, and I will get a hold of them. They called me and told me they sent in letters. They happened to get picked, so I'll call them back and
So they will be notified.
they will be notified, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Moving along, commission comments. Brandon?
I don't know. There's a lot going on this week, in the next several weeks, so I don't have anything important to say right now, I don't think.
Okay. Clifton?
I mean, I've said it before, and apparently at least the Republican committee doesn't believe us, or me. We don't have a magic wand and we can't break the law. Which apparently that's what they want us to do. There's a thing called inverse condemnation. It is taking away of property rights after the fact. So it's easy, hindsight's 20/20. I mean, it's easy to look back and say, well, we should have done something 3 years ago, but nobody did. It was brought up. Nobody did anything. Now the solar panel companies are here. They've made substantial, what would be called substantial steps. They have spent money and they have signed contracts with people. We can't use inverse condemnation to take away those property rights, whether you like it or not. We can't. First and foremost, I wouldn't do it. Secondly, we're certainly not covered under insurance for it. So it would be somebody in the county, since we're not zoned. I know people that have natural gas wells on their property that they use to heat their homes. I think we should be taxing that. Well, I can't do that. I can't go back after the fact. So, and I understand that you all think whatever. I mean, honestly, I don't know what you think. Because taking away another person's property rights to me is communism, not the Republican Party. So, and you know, another thing is I wasn't at the meeting. Not one Republican Party committee member called me. So when I talk about disrespectful, that would be disrespectful. But anyway, again, we can't break the law. When you sit here in this seat, you can't break the law, whether you like it or not. So, anyway, that's all I got.
Okay.
Inverse condemnation, look it up. It's very important.
The only thing I would comment on, and I'm always concerned when people.
Inverse condemnation doesn't exist?
Those solar panels aren't there yet. You can't condemn something that doesn't exist.
Katie, they had their contract, so it's like a contract.
Public information could have solved a lot
Okay,
of it.
okay. We're not gonna argue over this tonight. We're just trying to be fair and honest to everyone. My comment on the 29 folks that voted non-confidence in me.
There's no NDA. Hang on.
Yes, there were.
With me? No.
No, with the
No.
landowner.
So, that's private
He's
property.
coming right up to our house.
No, it's not.
The argument's gonna stop, I'll end the meeting.
Go ahead, Jim.
If you wanna talk, you come in, raise your hand like everyone else, and I'll recognize you as like I have everyone else that raised their hand tonight. Yes, Mr. Hall.
What was said anyway that I replied to?
I'm
You
sorry?
you inferred that we had NDAs, and there's
The
no
landowners
NDAs.
did. The reps told them, now don't say anything because this will void your contract. They told them, don't say anything to your neighbors. That's a tactic the company uses because they know the neighbors are gonna be pissed, we're gonna rile. I'll tell you an honest fact, my neighbor, Tina Harper, her dad was the first one to sign back in 2019. She didn't know from her very own dad, I was the one that told her about it 2 months ago. That's called an NDA.
Can I ask you an honest question?
Sure.
If their family member didn't know, that means we didn't know either. What was we supposed to do?
Well, I mean, you guys are the ones that signed the contracts. I mean,
No, not what we're talking about tonight. We're talking, one we signed a contract is a large firm in the southwest part of the
Where
county.
I'm
These individuals are
30
completely different,
pissed off.
completely different companies or contracts that we're not involved in.
well, that may be a different company, but I'm just saying
Well,
it's,
it is a
it's the
different
same deal. It's the
No.
solar. It's the solar. I was talking about the landowners in my district that were under an NDA. That's what I replied to. That's not a false statement what I made.
And I really want to be polite here tonight, and I'm going to be polite because I told myself a couple weeks ago I wasn't going to lose my temper because it solved no purpose.
No, that's okay.
I don't want to lose that. I want to get along with everyone, but we are limited on what we can do. I don't understand why you folks don't hire private lawyers and go after these folks if they broke the law.
Well, that's been done, but I'm just saying nobody, the people that have signed on to these deals right next to us that are going to put 25 foot from our house didn't tell us,
Sir?
and the rep said don't tell them. That's upsetting.
He is working on a setback of 300 feet or more.
Well, why
So-
did the Senator Thompson say 1.5 miles? Why is the CDC
Well,
said 1.5
Senator
miles?
Thompson called me and said, what a mess in
EMS are
Burlington.
hazardous.
Senator Thompson called me and said, what a mess in Burlington.
Bourbon
Yeah.
County.
No, he said Burlington, Kansas.
Well,
He said, what a mess. But anyway, we talked about it. He seemed like a real nice guy, but
Yeah, he is.
anyway. Anything else, ladies and gentlemen? Only thing I'm gonna comment on the Republic Committee. as I started to say before we had this discussion, I'm always disappointed when there's 29 people that vote non-confidence in me. But I'm also happy with the 14,000 people that didn't vote it. So that's all I'm going to say about it. There's a lot of people in Bourbon County, and 29 don't make 14,000. So I'll do the best I can, and I'm going to stay calm. We've done everything these folks, I believe, has asked us to, or as a committee, the setback working. I think we've done everything we can within reason that you folks have asked us to do, except break the law.
And we cannot
We're not
break the
asking you to
law.
break the law. I simply wanted, we wish we would have been notified of it. I mean, it was a secret meeting.
Okay.
The landowners were under NDAs.
Who would notify you?
That's why we're mad. No,
Yeah, I understand.
But why are you mad at us? We didn't know about
I'm
it
not
either.
mad at you. We're mad about the whole deal. Who do we take it out on? You're the
Well-
ones who signed the contracts. We're coming to you. You're supposed to help us.
Well,
Are you referring to the big one down southwest or the new
Where
one?
I live,
The new
yeah.
one. I don't know where you live, sir.
I live in your district.
Okay, where you're close to the big ranch down there?
Right. I'm just a
Okay.
couple miles. And they're gonna put it right
Those-
up next to my house.
Those people have said they will do a 300 feet plus setback, close to your house.
For my information, that's not near enough. But, you know, I'm glad you're doing something, but, I
but
just wish we
if
would have.
if I had information that said 300 foot is safe, would you believe it? Because it's out there also.
Well, you know,
I'm just
I mean,
saying
there's been fights both sides.
I mean, the truth is, it's out there also that says 300, that says 25 foot safe. I mean, I found that.
And really.
So, I mean, what
When
you got to
think-
choose
when
what
think
you
about
believe.
Just the lithium batteries that explode.
Okay, wait a second.
And the
Wait a
fire
second.
departments cannot put them out.
Okay. So again, do you own any rechargeable tools?
Little tiny ones, not the size of a semi-trailer.
Doesn't matter. It's still lithium battery. Cars.
And
How
I'm
many
probably
Teslas are you
recycling
driving
them,
out there?
but
How many?
They sit in my
So
cabinet. That's not the same equation.
Mr. Hall, let me interrupt here for a minute.
Yes, sir.
Let me interrupt here. Now, we've been talking about this for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Right.
And you folks coming back and beating us up every week is not getting us anywhere.
I don't know who to go to.
Well, go to your personal lawyer if it's a personal, private.
We have been,
Okay.
but we don't want to sue people.
Well, you want us to sue them? I'm
No,
not arguing. What do you want?
We just wish we would have had an open discussion when it affects everybody. We did it under secrecy.
we didn't do anything under
The
secrecy.
contracts were signed under secrecy. I think you guys had a part in signing the contracts.
No.
Okay, but my point is,
Secret contracts and nobody found out
No.
about the project until the contracts were signed.
Is that
on
not
the Southwest project?
Yes.
Okay.
So they
My
brought
point is-
something to us that we had to sign. We didn't have any negotiating power with the solar panel companies.
But why didn't you talk to anybody else? I mean, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's not agricultural. It's industrial power plants.
But,
Yeah. And it's a health hazard.
excuse me, what does your private attorney tell you about filing an injunction or something?
Yeah.
He said that, but he said it's not important right now. It doesn't matter right now until it happens. He said it doesn't do nothing right now. It's a waste of money.
Really?
To my knowledge, it's not my lawyer, but that's what I've heard through the grapevine.
Well, so you don't have a personal lawyer?
It's not. I didn't hire him. I've assisted.
You know, I can't give you any advice, but this has got to discontinue at this commission meeting. We're here to conduct county business, and we can help every person inside the fence. I think we've done that. I mean, Mary came forward and someone else came forward, asked us to start this committee, and we would said yes. Great idea. Let's move forward.
Sure.
And give us a chance to move forward on this, because with that moratorium, we're going to address the ones that don't have contracts. And it might lead to some type of zoning, Mary. I don't know. It'll be up to the voters.
I'm not advocating for zoning.
No, I know you're not. I'm just, you kind of asked some questions there, so I'm just trying to address them, so.
We were told zoning couldn't be put on the ballot. It can't be something voted, it can't
Right.
be enacted by a vote. That's what Justin's advice was.
Can't be, I was told by petition.
The petition was to put it on the ballot.
Yeah.
And then in that letter, he said, zoning cannot be instituted by a vote. Not by petition, by a vote. Zoning cannot be enacted by a vote. It has to be put in place by the commission.
My understanding, if we had the committee, and I could be wrong here, so congestion's already gone. If we're convinced that the folks want it on the ballot, us three can put it on the ballot, correct?
Yes.
Commission can.
That's not what his advice said. It's like an opinion poll. You're saying, do you want it? Not, it will be enacted. That can be done. He
I
said.
would like to see an opinion poll, because right now, the people that talks about zoning, it's 80 against and 20 in favor. So I have to see something in the numbers that would tell me to put it, or get close to 50 or something to show me to put it on the ballot, to let the people vote. And I think that's everything we do, important stuff like that. I mean, it should be decided by the people, not 12 people here or 60 people here. Let the people vote. If they want zoning 101, but it takes in a zoning department. We gotta hire some people. We gotta buy some vehicles. I mean, it's not just, but it can be done, certainly. And what that would do, it would start out on the ballot. It wouldn't say commercial industrial. It would say some type of zoning, special use permit for these type of uses or et cetera. You would go into a special zoning book of some type, and then there'd be certain uses that would require a special permit.
Now, you can't just target one industry.
we can't
We
single
couldn't
it.
target just solar panels.
Yes, ma'am, in the back.
So if we start to zone Bourbon County, the whole county, that's cities, towns, everybody would vote on whether they wanted it zoned. That's correct?
That's my understanding.
Okay. And then they would start zoning everywhere in the county?
Well, my understanding, there would be places that's grandfathered. Any new operation that came forward would have to come to a, zoning committee and
So that we
apply.
would zone the county for this, for that, and this for that, and this for something else. Every individual industrial project would have to come up and
Yes,
say, can I do?
that's correct.
Every commercial project, every private business.
Would have to come to the board or our
Would have to
acting
come and
agent.
get approval by the commission.
Yeah, the final,
If those things are in your zoning handbook, those things have to be put in your handbook. It doesn't, when you say you have zoning, it doesn't mean everybody has to come and get approval. If it's not something
But
that you've set forth regulations.
if you just put one or two in there, that's called spot zoning.
Correct.
Can't do
And that's
it.
illegal.
I mean, can't we distinguish between agricultural?
Well, agricultural would be agricultural grandfather.
not in it.
No, it would be grandfather. Agriculture
Right,
would be
okay, okay.
agriculture.
So,
Nothing would change in agricultural.
Right.
Nothing, my understanding of zoning, nothing would change, just grandfather. It would be going forward of any new applications. But Katie, I believe we'd have to list a few to avoid it.
Just like retail, commercial, industrial, not solar, wind, fireworks.
Yeah,
I mean,
we wouldn't single them out. We would be pretty broad on what the uses would be allowed without a permit. Just like the city does and other places do, you know. If in the book that you've already been approved by the committee, our zoning person would issue you a permit to go forward with your zoning. And that person would change the zoning on the map. It would now be general commercial or multifamily. Now, the only time it would change with family, it was multifamily apartments or something. That requires a fire marshal involvement because, yes, ma'am.
I have another question. When did Bourbon County Commissioners do the designation of Freedom County for Bourbon County?
I don't,
When did you do that?
I'm not
And
sure.
I don't know that you did it. When was it done?
I don't understand what you're asking.
Okay. I read, in the Tribune, that at one point, Bourbon County was designated a Freedom County. And the notes it said, and now we're asking for it to be zoned, and those are opposites.
I read something like that somewhere on something. I don't know when they did
In a report of the
it.
commission. I read that in a report of the commission.
I don't know. I'm not aware of that conversation,
We
but,
never were designated a Freedom County.
well,
Like that we are,
non-zone
Allowed
county.
to do what we want to do on our land without.
well, we voted on a deal, yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay. We
When
voted
did
on a
we-
deal that we support property rights of landowners to do
When did we
as
do
they
that?
wish. A couple of years ago,
I think
maybe?
2 years ago.
Two, three,
We,
two, three?
we voted to allow property owners to use their property as they seem fit.
I have talked with people from other counties, family members, et cetera, who farm in other counties. They've never even heard of that. So that's why I'm asking. Huh, okay.
Well, it falls right down through, I think, the Constitution of the United States and
They
the
just
Constitution of
assumed
the
that
State of
they were
Kansas.
Freedom County without ever having to be designated.
Yeah. Well, it was important we do that at the time. So, yes, Pete?
So if this commission comes back with the 1,200 meter setback, are you guys gonna do that, or are you gonna do whatever you feel like?
I'm gonna take that in advice and it would be 50-50 today, I would do that, yeah. I'm gonna really listen to this committee, but I'm also listening to that other 80 that's calling too. So because I try to represent everyone.
Well, you got half the people that are for it and half the people that are against it on the committee.
Yeah,
But you're gonna listen to everybody else too.
that was our goal, to kind of balance it
Even if
out.
they're in the city,
I'm sorry?
you're gonna take a vote for, or listen to anybody else, or only county?
Well,
Because it affects everyone.
it does. The city folks pay county taxes. If you live on Broadway, you pay the same county taxes as everyone else does, so.
The only difference is Fort Scott is zoned out to 3 miles outside the city limits. So the city could stop it, right?
Well, they don't do anything else in 3 miles, so they're not gonna jump out and be the bad boy on it, unless they wanna activate.
Right, but they could go.
They could activate the entire 3 mile zone.
They
But
could.
they don't.
But they stay inside the city limits, but they're,
Pete,
If you
answer your
live-
question, yes, I will consider that.
if you live at 60 in Judson, you don't have to worry about the neighbor.
Well, that's the same word to
One
me,
house
listen and
in, but
consider.
not sold.
Okay, I will listen to it.
See,
That's the word you're looking for? Listen?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I will listen to their recommendation, and I'll consider anything that they recommend, and I will make the best decision I can with the information that I have, serving all property owners on both sides of the fence. You know, they have rights too. I'm not gonna violate their rights no more than I'm gonna intentionally violate someone's rights in this audience, so, but.
That's what
Yes.
Sage is trying to tell you, that we feel like you intentionally violated our rights by just going ahead with everything without even talking to us.
You mean the first project?
And all of it, yeah.
Well, the rest of, the first project was done quite some time ago. These other projects came forward, and we were about the last ones to know, so we couldn't have stopped the contracts already signed.
Don't you guys have the negotiating rights? That's called the pilot money. Don't you have the negotiating rights on, you don't?
No.
That's what Schallenberger told me the other day.
But Mr. Schallenberger is incorrect.
Well, I'll get the paperwork from him that says.
We don't have that. We can ask for it. It's called
Yeah.
pilot money, or, which is payment of the taxes that was set up by Governor Brownback, or we can ask for a donation agreement. But there's nothing that says they have to come to the table and talk to us about. There's no legal requirements because we're unzoned. Those people, we was the last ones to know until you folks come and told us. There's no reason. Legally, they didn't have to tell us, Pete. I mean, I don't
Why
understand.
would anybody not want to be zoned? Why would anybody not want to be zoned? Everybody should be voting for zoning.
Well,
Everybody should be standing up when we need to zone this dude right now.
Because we're not talking about what you're already doing with agriculture. That's, leave that
Yeah,
alone.
agriculture's fine.
This is just the imposition of these
Okay.
monstrous corporations.
anyway, I hope the committee gets together soon and comes up with some recommendations. I think it's a pretty good group. And you're
I think
gonna-
so. Yeah, I
You're
think
gonna
I
kind of
can-
be involved.
I think I can get along with
monitor it.
all of them, and I
It's in
think we
District
can-
1, so he's gonna be involved in it somewhat, as much as you need him to be. He's a busy guy, but he's gonna help. Larry, did you have something?
I just want to know, just a quick question.
Okay.
Has any of the commissioners financially benefited from the signings of these contracts?
I have not.
Nope.
And I'm a God-fearing person.
I understand that. I just want to know yea or nay.
And I can only speak for Jim Harris, because I don't know about anybody else in the room, what they benefited, but Jim Harris is not doing that.
Good.
No.
All right, just all I need to know.
Thank you.
I work 70 hours a week, still have no money.
Okay,
But none of these are going next to your property,
my property?
or Clifton's, or Brandon's?
No.
No.
If, honestly, if they was, I would hire a personal attorney and see what harm I could pursue, and try to file an injunction against, out of my pocket, if that was the case. But that's just me as an individual, but
Did
it's
we
kind
ever
of,
get that written opinion back on the attorney's opinion that we did submit? Because you had said that you were gonna talk to him about getting the documentation of a response on the attorneys that you talked to that said the.
adjustment, as far as I know, he was working on that, so.
Okay.
And I know he talked to the insurance company, and I think Pete was involved in that conversation.
Okay.
I don't know what all was said, so. Anything else, folks? I'm going to adjourn the meeting. Thank you for coming, and I want to thank the committee members for volunteering their time to review this. Look for adjournment. Motion?
Yeah, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Good luck, Brandon.
Yeah, I may need it.
Yep. Any commission, the minutes.
Pass that over here to you fellas.
Okay.
So, you and your brother are on it. I have your number and I have his number. I got phone number